Good afternoon. My name is Lauren. I am a coach at the Hampton Oaks Elementary School where I work with my client Mary. I'm going to give a recap of an activity that was a facilitative approach we worked on together called the cycle of an emotion. Here's the picture that comes from Ms. Aguilar's book, The Art of Coaching Workbook. We have the prompting event, the interpretation of the event, physical response, urge to act, action, and the after effects. So I'm going to share some background information, which is that she already has an anxiety disorder and has come to learn that their school is going to now be doing science every day, where the elementary teachers are teaching their students science every single day. The superintendent thought this would be a good way to raise science testing scores when the kids get to the middle school. And she also found out on this very same day who is going to be her evaluator, and she's upset with knowing which one it is. So I am going to show how the script lays out. It's important to notice that the talking points show up on the prompting event, the interpretation of it, the physical response of it, the urge to act, and the action. I'll say those aloud as well as I go through this, but I'll have this background in for you all. Mary, it's good to see you. I'm happy that we were able to connect about some points in your email. I gathered from your email that you have a lot of emotions about the news at the staff meeting. Can you tell me more about that? This is the prompting event. It's good to see you. Thanks for meeting with me today. I said, "You're welcome. What emotions coming up for you when you were in the meeting?" She said, "I don't even know where to start. I was already feeling some anxiety when I found out my evaluator this year was Erin. And I heard she doesn't believe in giving teachers excellent because there's always room for improvement." I shared, "So, what I'm hearing you say is that you were already feeling uncomfortable before you heard the news from the superintendent." Here we go into the interpretation spot. Mary, hearing from Brian was just a cherry on the top. My brain went right to thinking that Erin's going to pop into my room right at the moment I'm trying to teach science and write in her notepad how terrible I am. Plus, are they just trying to set us teachers up for failure by not providing us any curriculum? Curriculum doesn't even come into my after my final evaluation. I don't understand how they can be so cruel. No wonder teachers are leaving. I asked, "Can you name that emotion?" Mary said, "Fear and panic is how I felt." This is the physical response. I said, "You shared with me before that you have an anxiety disorder. I can imagine you felt areas of your body that were being affected. Can you elaborate on that?" And she disclosed that she felt a tightening in her chest and a bad taste in her mouth, that she felt dizzy, her stomach was still hurting from yesterday's stress, and that she didn't sleep well. Then I lead her into the urge to act, discussing it out loud together. "Can I ask you something more personable? Personal?" "Yes." "What did you feel like doing at that moment Brian shared the news?" Mary, I wanted to escape. I wanted to walk out of the meeting to get some fresh air. That was her urge. Action. I said, "That sounds incredibly distressing. What did you do then, if you don't mind me asking?" "I stayed because Erin was in the room and I didn't want her to already mark me before she did her pop in evaluations. And the longer I stayed, the worse I felt. I began to get sweaty. My face was so hot, but I bet I looked like a tomato." Here's the part of the after effects. I said, "Can we explore a bit more about how your emotions played out when you heard about science every day since the triggering moment has passed?" "Yes, but please realize it's hard for me to talk about the subject today because it's caused me so much stress. I didn't sleep well and I'm very tired and irritable." I shared, "Well, thank you for trusting me. In fact, what you've just disclosed is what I wanted to talk about. I noticed that you can connect your anxious response to how you feel today. I'm sorry to hear that you're feeling tired and irritable. I believe identifying emotions is one way to tame them and feel more in control and powerful again. What are your thoughts on scheduling a time to meet to process how you interpreted the news of the science every day? I would like to have you explore if there are other ways to look at I would like to have you explore if there are other ways to look at the situation. I heard you say you felt fear and panic. I have an exercise that can help you challenge your thinking and shift how you're feeling. Mary said she would like to do that, and her anxiety builds when she sits on these thoughts and she can't endure the long term stress. And I said, how about we meet in a couple days from now? And she said she'd make time for that. When I saw her the next day, I said that she looked more rested, and I just asked how she was feeling. She said she felt a little bit more like herself, but she has really been struggling, and she has had a moment to digest the news, but she's not really feeling her best. And I just said, I'm happy you're here, but there's an exercise that I have that maybe she'd be willing to try. She said she'd give it a try, but again, she wasn't feeling her best. I said, I'm here to support you with this exercise. If you notice panic symptoms arise, we can just reschedule or try a different exercise. She said, thanks for understanding. I think you're strong for trying exercises that are challenging. This activity is called interpretations. All of us carry our own values, beliefs, and experiences on our back, and it influences our being. Our perception of how things are is our reality. That doesn't make it the truth. In the staff meeting of 100 teachers, there were 100 interpretations of what science every day means. Your principal sat there listening to Brian with his interpretation, just like you were. I can't speak for him, but I can conclude from my life experience that he sat there feeling emotions too. What emotions do you think others might have been feeling at the meeting? She said, maybe someone was excited to teach science. Okay, what might have influenced them to feel this excitement? She said, maybe they liked learning science when they were a kid. Well, can you name another emotion someone might have felt the other day? Someone might have been angry. Can you share what might have influenced them to feel that way? They don't think it's our responsibility for how students perform outside of our school. I ended this line with, so what I'm hearing is that you can identify different emotions that might have been felt and how the staff could have been influenced to feel these ways. And she questioned, well, how does that affect me? I said, sometimes just being able to identify the different people interpret the same event differently can be freeing. This is wonderful news because you can be the one in control of the interpretation. Feeling empowered is incredible. She said, I don't feel very powerful. I can't control my thoughts, they just appear. I asked, is it possible that as soon as you're aware that you're thinking, you can interrupt yourself? Yes. As soon as your brain learns to interrupt a thought process, it can begin to go the other way with it. It takes practice to rewire the brain. The brain cells are used to going one way, and it will take an aggressive and active part from you to train the brain to go the other way. You must get ahead of these thoughts, or the rest of the cards will fall. Thoughts become emotions, emotions become physical responses, and those responses feel so powerful they can lead us to taking action. And sometimes the action is healthy and sometimes it's not. And she said, well, this is going to take a long time. Don't feel discouraged, Mary. I will interrupt that thought with a different interpretation. Another way to interrupt this thought or challenge this thought is to realize that since we're humans with brains and we think all the time anyway, the time we need to practice won't cost us anything. Let's go back to the day you heard about the science every day. Can you think of another way to interpret the news that doesn't come from a place of fear and panic? Maybe Brian views us as competent and believes we will be successful doing this. I agree with that statement. All of you will be able to do this. What emotions come up when you think of someone knowing that they can count on you to do something well? I feel proud and happy. And how does your body feel when you feel pride and happiness? I glow and smile. What will you do? What will you feel an urge to do in this situation? Try my best. What does trying your best look like in this situation? I might enroll in the best practice science course the district is offering. How do you anticipate your anxiety order will think of this interpretation versus the one from the other day? My anxiety disorder could have taken the day off. I picked up at some points you had some thoughts regarding evaluations. Are you interested in doing some interpretations regarding having a strict evaluator? Sure, I can work on that one by myself. We'll keep in touch if you see yourself getting stuck and we can work on that together. Thanks for your help today. I concluded with great work challenging your thoughts. It takes a lot of practice, but you can do it.